Nagiwi Makiapi. This program comes to you from the Assistant Waptan Oyate Behavioral Health, Mayuteca, to make myself new day treatment. This is a dedicated radio spot scheduled every Thursday from 10 to 10:30. The initial intent of this program is to inform, educate, and provide awareness of domestic violence, sexual assault, outpatient treatment, day treatment, youth services, men's group to address anger, batterers, court referrals, and domestic violence, counseling, and the crisis line. All services provided by the behavioral health to begin the healing process. All of the above are part of everyday life for many women, children, men, aunties, uncles, grandparents, and extended family, our Dakota Nation. That circle of unhealthy behavior that we need to heal from. No one is born to be an abuser, molester, drug abuser, alcoholic, rapist. Something traumatic occurred in the life of the abuser perpetrator in order for them to begin that spirit-harming and in many cases lifelong painful journey of reliving or remembering the ugliness inflicted upon them. One good thing, in the future we will be taking call-ins. Behavioral staff will be here. The intent is to have a youth panel so that youth can address their issues as well. So in the future we'll be taking call-ins. Behavioral health number is 698-2106. The crisis line number is 605-419-1036. Today it will be Delbert Hopkins Jr. talking about men's groups, men batterers, and Sharon Morley, who will be talking and addressing about her experience and job as a youth counselor. Pidamia, mitake piwas.
Ihana nina washte. Hupa humaza makbedo. My name is Delbert Hopkins Jr. My mother is Sharon Rain Conner. My dad is Delbert Hopkins Sr. That's where I come from, Tokanoa. And I'm honored here to be here this morning. Since it's the month to end Sexual Violence Month, I kind of wanted to touch a little bit on some information on domestic violence and sexual assault, and kind of explain the work that I do with men's non-violence group. I do those in the evenings, so I'll end it with that one. But some information I kind of wanted to share this morning, and I apologize. I wanted, usually when I talk in the community or other places, I usually have a flutist that plays a flute in my background, and Skyman is busy at a meeting over back at the program, so he can't play the flute with me, so just bear with me this morning, so I apologize. Some information on domestic violence. By definition, domestic violence is a pattern of learned behavior where one person uses assaultive or controlling behaviors against another to maintain power or control. Unfortunately, there isn't just one textbook example of domestic violence. It can include physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, and stalking. It can occur in any kind of relationships, married, dating, same-sex. It can also take many forms and can happen all the time and not just once in a while. And if you think that you're being abused, just ask the following questions to yourselves out there in the community. Are you ever afraid of your partner? Does your partner tell you what to do and who to see? Has your partner ever threatened or harmed you? Has your partner ever forced you to have sex? Has your partner ever pushed or hit you, thrown things at you, or forced you to have sex? Do you feel frightened, hurt, confused, disappointed, angry, ashamed, or hopeless as a result of your relationship? If you have answered yes to these questions, you could be in a dangerous situation, so please talk with somebody, talk with a family member, or you could reach out. There's always information posted out in the community about how you could get help with our hotlines, or you could come stop and visit with Linda, myself, Dr. Mason, anybody over at the Behavioral Health Program or the MSPI program, and they'll direct you to get that help in the community. Just remember, I believe that just talk with somebody and get that help. Report it. There's law enforcement all out there in your best interest in getting help and protecting yourselves and your family members. And the national hotline for domestic violence is 1-800-799-SAFE or 7233. Or our program, the Behavioral Health, is 698-2106. Myself, Linda, Dr. Mason, or Sharon. Sharon's going to be talking a little bit about herself and just a little bit after I get done. But I'm going to burn a few more minutes off because I only got 15 minutes. So I'm going to try to make this quick, though. And on to the next, I kind of want to touch a little bit about sexual assault out there in the community, that not only in our community, but it happens off the reservation, off the SW, and it affects everybody. Sexual assault is a form of abuse and is defined as non-consensual sexual contact. These acts may include coercion, being persuaded, manipulated in having sex, or acquaintance rape, being forced to have sex by someone known or familiar with you. And if you have if you suspect a friend or family member who has been sexually assaulted, there are signs to look for. And here's a couple I wanted to share. Shock and numbness. And shock and numbness, that's feeling of lightheadedness, confusion, being easily overwhelmed, or not knowing how to feel or what to do. Loss of control, feeling like their whole world is being turned upside down and that they will never have control of their life again. And also fear that the rapist may return, fear for general physical safety, fear of being alone, fear of other people or situations that remind the victims of assault, and of course guilt and self-blame, feeling like they could have or should have done something to avoid or prevent the assault, doubts regarding their ability to make judgments, isolation, feeling that this experience has set them apart from other people, feeling that the other people can tell they have been sexually assaulted just by looking at them, not wanting to burden other people with their experience, distrust, feeling that they are at the mercy of their own emotions or actions of others, not knowing who to trust or how to trust themselves, feeling suspicion and caution. And those are just a couple, and of course anger, sexual fears, rape-related, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And I kind of want to wrap up what the domestic violence groups that I do, men's groups. I do those in the evenings on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 o'clock until 7:30. They're about like an hour and a half long. I try to keep them about like 15 people per group. They're about like, it's a 27-week program. Once a week, so it's going to be like 7.5 months long if you think about it. Because if you're going to come once a week, that's how long it's going to take. So when you come through the program, we expect you to be drug and alcohol free, because we want you to keep an open mind and a good heart when you come to these classes, because it's all about you healing and breaking that cycle of domestic violence, you hurting your partner and your loved ones. So keep that in mind. So we're going to ask you that. And also, Ihana, they say that we're born with that spiritual compass. So keep in mind that we want you to continue to believe in your higher power. Go to church or in NEPs or whatever when you come to the program. So we encourage that. So keep in mind that we encourage that. And so walk that road, walk a good road. So it's all about healing yourself and also breaking that your old way of thinking. Yeah, I got to hit my partner first, but we want to change that way of thinking. So this is the program, and it's 7.5 months. Like in the curriculum, if I do it twice a week, it's gonna like cut that in half. So and I'll be going over the equality wheel and the power and control wheel. So we're going to break those down. So that's why it's going to take so long, because I kind of want to spend these areas in our groups. So it's going to take a while. For example, power and control, physical violence out there. It's not only men that are out there are abusing the victims. Women also batter too. So when we get going, when I get these classes going, Linda, she's an excellent lady out there. She's Ihana. Everybody knows her and respects her in the community. So she's going to be starting. I'll be helping her start a women's group, women that batter too. So I'm looking forward to that. So in the power control, it's we're going to break down using intimidation, using emotional abuse, using isolation. We're going to break that down, and so we could talk about those in the groups. Minimizing, denying, and blaming, and of course, using children, using male privilege, using economic abuse, using coercion and threats, and I'm going to flip it on our clients that come through to think of equality. What does equality look like on nonviolence? Like using non-threatening behavior, having respect, having trust and support for your partner, honesty and accountability, responsible parenting, shared responsibility, economic partnership, negotiation, and fairness. So I'm looking forward to sharing this in our community. I'm glad that the behavioral health program has this program. Instead of sending our loved ones to a jail, they're not getting any help. They're just spending time, and they're not breaking that cycle. So we rather create these programs in our communities to like this program of domestic violence, to end that violence, so we can break that cycle, because we have all these isms in our community. So it's a good start for this program. So once again, if you have any questions, feel free to stop by our program. The behavioral health program is the old tax building. Is that tan building right across our kitty corner, right across from the old blue law enforcement building. And I think quite a few people know me in the community. I'm that big teddy bear that walks out there in the community, so I'm easy to approach, and I like to talk. So, and I like to kind of visit with people. So I'm very friendly. Stop by and talk with me if you have any information too, and also with Linda, or whoever, and also in the program, Sharon. She's on deck. She's give me the cue that she wants to talk, but just feel free to stop by, or whoever, and we'll help you. We'll get out there and help you. And I want to thank Tom for all the things that he does for the radio station and the program. And I want to thank all you frontline workers out there in the community in our reservation that continue to work for our people, and you give yourselves time and time again out there to help, and you have that compassion. I thank you, and also to our leaders to help supporting the programs like this. Hope Midaki Wasa. Open up.
Delbert kept threatening to take my time, but he didn't do that for me, so I guess I'll have to stretch this a bit. I'll try and talk slow. My name is Sharon Morey. I am new to this community. I moved here in September. I am Chiricahua Apache, so I can be your token Apache for the SWO community. I moved here to help manage the Generation Indigenous Grant, or Gen-I as we call it. This grant is targeting ages 12 to 24, so our youth, for suicide and substance abuse prevention. Currently, I am conducting psychoeducational groups, so it's not really group therapy, it's more learning coping skills, resiliency skills, and I'm doing that at Enemy Swim Day School and also at Teosh Pazina Tribal School. I also provide individual counseling for students at ESDS and TZ, as well as Sisseton Middles, and I do have some clients from Sisseton High School as well that I meet with in the office. The goal for this program is to set up equine-assisted psychotherapy program, hoping we're targeting a start date of June 4th, so that we can continue to provide services for our youth during the summertime. And we are currently looking at possible locations for this program. Want to keep it central, and also finding transportation to bring youth into this program from their communities. I want to talk a little bit about what equine-assisted psychotherapy is. A lot of people think we're giving therapy to the horses. That is not the case. We're using the horse as a therapist, and the therapist is actually a facilitator of this. This allows the individual working with the horses to kind of reflect on what's going on and to learn about how they interact with their surroundings through the interactions they have with the horse. The horse can actually reach some places for the participants that maybe a therapist hasn't been able to get to, whether it's because of trust or fear about what's going to be said or confidentiality concerns, those kinds of things. The horses are the ones that can get there. Horses teach us about how to have positive relationships. They teach us how to be responsible because we have to be providing them care. They teach us about empathy. They teach us about trust. They teach us about spirituality. And they also teach us to listen. The biggest thing I think about this kind of therapy is for our culture, for Native Americans, it is very appropriate. We are a horse nation. And this is basically best practices for us because we're getting back to our culture, our roots, our way of doing things. Currently, I brought with me 2 horses, very different personalities, have very different skills. I've also been given a colt that we will be bringing onto the program, and looking forward to expanding this as time goes on. I also hope to bring equine activities for youth, not therapy, just good old-fashioned fun, doing something other than rodeo, other than trail rides, learning how to work together as a team with the horses, and bringing in family engagement and community engagement to help volunteer with these programs as well. And so that's something coming down the pike also. I also want to be able to eventually expand the equine-assisted psychotherapy program to provide services for families, to provide services for veterans and other individuals that may have PTSD, as science has done research and realized that animal therapies, whether it's dogs, horses, any other type of nature therapies, seems to really help with post-traumatic stress disorder. Also hope to reach out to individuals that are involved in the correctional facilities or dealing with probation. We can learn a lot on how to engage with society in a more acceptable and appropriate manner by working with animals. I worked with a program in Colorado who brought in Mustangs that had been trained by inmates in the prisons in Colorado. And they were responsible for all of the gentling and training of these Mustangs. And so we've learned through time that horses can help rehabilitate people as well. I'm located in the behavioral health office also, and provide counseling services for our youth. Our youth are struggling. Many of you know that. They're dealing with stress, they're dealing with anxiety, they're dealing with depression, they're having suicidal thoughts. And we need to come in and support them, and they need the support from all of those elders and the people in their community. They need to learn how to make life worth living instead of just surviving it. And so that is my focus. I guess I want to piggyback just a few minutes on what Delbert presented. I don't think we realize the effect domestic violence has on our children and our youth. Our children learn how to have relationships with other people based on what they see in their home and what they witness in the community. If there is domestic violence in the home, they're learning that this is the way we treat the people that we're in relationship with, whether we learn how to be a victim or we learn how to be an abuser. And that's something that our children shouldn't learn, especially from their parents. And so I really want to put that message out there to really think about, how are you treating other people? What are your children learning from watching you? They're sponges. They're watching everything. I wish our program was targeting younger ages, because I'm seeing some of these issues come to play in our younger kids. And we really need to catch this before it goes too far. We have the potential to heal this community and to heal our children and raise up a strong nation. And that's where our focus needs to be. Linda, do you have anything else to say? Because I welcome you all to call me, 698-2106. We'll be more than happy to speak with you on any concerns that you might have. Thank you.
Can I just stay here?
Okay.
Just briefly, this program comes to you from the System of Behavioral Health, Mayuteca, to Make Myself New Day Treatment. This is a dedicated radio spot scheduled every Thursday from 10 o'clock to 10:30. The initial intent of the program is to inform, educate, and provide awareness of domestic violence, sexual assault, outpatient treatment, day treatment, youth services, men's groups, to address anger, batters, court referrals, domestic violence, counseling, and crisis line. All these services are provided by behavioral health to begin the healing process. All the above are a part of everyday life for many women, children, men, aunties, uncles, grandparents, and extended family, our Dakota Nation. That circle of unhealthy behavior that we desperately need to heal from. No one is born to be an abuser, molester, drug abuser, alcoholic, rapist. Something traumatic occurred in the life of that abuser or perpetrator in order for them to begin the spirit harming and in many cases lifelong painful journey of remembering, reliving the ugliness inflicted upon them. You know, like perfect examples of behavioral health and their staff. These guys have many years of experience, but the tremendous heart they put into everything they say and do at work. You know, it's an honor to be in the presence of them on a daily basis. I honor that. In the future, we will be accepting call-ins. You know, people can call in and ask questions, anonymously, not be identified. And have questions that you need to hear, you need to have an answer for, but you're afraid to really ask. We will try to take care of that issue. Again, behavioral health, the number is 698-2106. The crisis line is 605-419-1036. I appreciate your time. Help to heal us all, help to heal our nation. We must stand together for this. Mayuteca.